Amazing Spider-Man. What do I have to say about the Amazing Spider-Man? It's hard to review the Amazing Spider-Man without talking about the original Spider-Man movies, the one with Tobey Maguire and all that. And my thoughts on the Amazing Spider-Man. If you haven't seen the originals, then I'd say this is a good movie. But if you're comparing to the originals, maybe the trilogy is better than the Amazing Spider-Man, but Spider-Man 1 on its own is, I think the Amazing Spider-Man is actually better. I mean, the thing about the Amazing Spider-Man is, like, it's actually a very different kind of movie than the original Spider-Man. The original was, it was goofy, it had, it, it, it kind of read like a comic book movie. It's like, it was, it wasn't that much to the movie. I mean, I didn't really feel that. I didn't really feel sad throughout the movie. Like there was that moment where Uncle Ben died, but it never really. It was never really like a drum. It wasn't really that dramatic. I mean, it was like it was like an action blockbuster movie. It was like it was actiony, yeah. In the Amazing Spider-Man, it's very different. I mean, it was actiony, but it was a lot more dramatic. I mean, like there was a lot more focus on the story. I mean, instead of just it being a goofy like comic book movie, it felt less like a comic book movie and felt more like a movie. You know, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it felt more like if you didn't read comics, then if you thought Spider-Man was just like an original character, then you'd think this wasn't a comic book movie. It really didn't feel like it. And I think that's actually a good thing. I mean, like when I think of a comic book movie, I think of like a goofy movie. It's fun. It's kind of unrealistic and blah blah blah. This movie feels, it's not realistic, but it feels realistic. Like they try to explain the mechanics of like the spider webs or like getting bitten or the lizard. They're trying to explain it all, and they're trying to make Peter Parker seem like he's a real person instead of like Tobey Maguire's. Kind of just felt like like he was there, but you never really got into his head. Like maybe you did, but not as much as you did Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like you went further into his character, and I think that's what sticks the Amazing Spider-Man out for me. I mean, they do so much more than the original trilogy. It's like maybe you don't like that. Maybe you don't like origin stories. Maybe you just want more action. Make it more like a comic book. But I like the fact that they delved deeper into this character. Like they talked about his parents. They talked about more of his like insecurities, and it just felt more complete than the original Spider-Man. Now, some faults to it. I felt that they made Spider-Man a little too weak because, I mean, he is a Spider-Man starting. Like he's not established yet, but I mean he felt a little too weak. I mean, like he had to be saved by Jamie Lan. Oh no, not Jamie Lannister. Wow. Okay. He had to be saved by Commissioner Stacy. I mean, with a shotgun. That was a little pathetic. I mean, because a Spider-Man would have definitely died if Commissioner Stacy didn't step up. It's like that was a main fault. They made him a little too weak, and also I like Emma Stone, but she looks really weird with blonde hair. I mean, it was a little distracting at points. Like, maybe she was the best person who auditioned to be Gwen Stacy. It's just I felt like she didn't look that good in this movie. Like she usually looks good, but it's like the blonde hair didn't make her look good, and that's a big problem because she's supposed to be Peter Parker's like love interest. Like she's the only one for him, and I feel like she didn't really look that good. But the good thing about her is she's a lot better than Mary Jane Watson because she actually did stuff. Okay, what else in this movie? I don't really have that much to say about Spider-Man. I'm a little disappointed that it's not connected with the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Avengers and stuff, but on its own, I don't feel it was bad. I mean, I can't comment on the 3D version because I didn't see it, but the movie was not bad. I mean, it delved deep into the Spider-Man character, and you liked him, you liked the cast. It's like there's not much to talk about, actually. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, Amazing Spider-Man wasn't like oh my god, this is the greatest movie ever, but it was a good movie. It was a good time. You'll have a good time at the theater. So that's my thoughts on it. Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't go deeper into this movie as much as I should, but there's not much to comment on. Okay, it was just a good movie in that it was a good movie. Okay, yeah, that's all I have to say.